Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's go. Mm-hmm. Blessings, everyone. Hello. Welcome to our very, very, very first Wisdom Wednesday service, Naples, Florida, brought to you by Naples. So happy to be here with you. So happy to see people showed up. Yay! It's really good to have a party and have people come. So, wow, I'm so excited to be with you. This is our time really to have conversations that matter. You know, we've been talking about conversations that lift the spirit, that touch your hearts, and just simply just allow us a time to reconnect on a spiritual level on a Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock. So take a moment, say hello to me. Hi, Heather from North Carolina. So great to see you. Linda Collins, yay. So good to see you. So good to see everybody. So does it feel good? Does it feel as good for you to sit down as it does for me to sit down? It's been a very, very busy day. So we'll wait a minute or two to see who else joins us, and then we'll center ourselves a little bit and see what's on our menu for tonight. Our theme this month is an awakened world. So that is kind of what we're doing. Hi, Les from North Carolina. Nice to see you. So we're gonna. I think we're gonna just stay with our theme on our Wednesdays. Really, just explore them a little bit deeper. This is a venue where, if you watched the Sunday service or if you were in the sanctuary for our Sunday service, you can ask questions here if you need clarity. I realized that I had some clarity I wanted to impart really for all of us on what it means, your higher why, Cowlick. Hi, Susan. Nice to see you. So let's just take a moment and do a little bit of spiritual practice. I need to speak a prayer, our opening prayer. But it would be good to breathe into the moment, to take a minute and to center ourselves, to complete the process of arriving here together, and to breathe, to open our minds, to open our hearts, to become receptive to whatever is ours to do here. For those of you who know me and have worked with me for a while, you know that I want this time to matter to us, that I'm keenly aware of the tick-tock, and that I don't think any of us have a moment to waste, really. And by waste, I don't mean you can't do anything frivolous. I do frivolous things all of the time, but I do mean that when you do a frivolous thing, that it should matter. If you eat a chocolate chip cookie, you should love it. If you spend 45 minutes with me, that it should matter to us. So we open our minds and we open our hearts to allow that mattering to take place. So get comfortable right where you are. If you would like, you can close your outer eyes for a moment and simply allow your breath to take you deeper within yourself. So inhale deeply, maybe the deepest breath you've taken all day. Take it right now. Let it fill your lungs. Let it slow down your heart rate. When you exhale, release any stress you're having. Hey, Jesse, any stress at all? Anything heavy on your heart? Anything worrying you? If what we teach is true, and I know it's true. I don't know that everyone knows it's true yet, but it is true that we live in a spiritual universe. We are spiritual beings. In truth, it's all going to turn out in the end because there is something within us that is indestructible, unharmable, unbreakable. And that there is, in this moment, no matter what's going on or has ever gone on, you are whole and perfect and complete. There is nothing missing. You are as God made you. God made you perfect. And don't get too caught up in the word God. God just means the infinite intelligence that governs this universe, right? Because something, not me, has made all of this, including me, right? So even though we may not be all that God is, all that we are is this intelligence and this love. And every person alive knows that. Saint and sinner knows that deep within that they are perfect. All right, so let's just take a moment. Let me bless from Sunday. What? Yeah. So let's go. Let's talk about that tonight. We'll talk about what if we don't know what our purpose is. Be a good thing to find out. So for now, let's turn within for a moment, and I will bless us. And so as you're relaxing your body, as you're relaxing your mind, as you're breathing in good, positive, vital energy through your breath, we simply just start at the beginning, which is to invite the ego self to relax, to invite the spirit self to come forward, to recognize our connection and our unity with one another and with this love intelligence that governs the universe. To know that love is a truth between our souls, whether we are strangers or whether we know each other, it matters not. We are brothers and sisters of the spirit. That's where we start. We start from this conscious connection, recognizing it. And it's from that place that we activate this intelligence through the use of our word. It's a God-given gift. We speak our word. We call into being realities and worlds. And so I speak my word for our gathering tonight, calling it whole and perfect, knowing that something good is to be gotten by each and every person on this call, that we have the opportunity here to be blessed and to be a blessing. And we say yes to it either way. So we let ourselves be lifted. We let ourselves be inspired. We let ourselves be healed. We let ourselves discover the answers to our questions. We let ourselves discover the solutions to our puzzles. And so I call tonight good and very, very good, blessing it all. And so it is. Amen. So it is. Amen. So our theme for the month of May is an awakened world. And I'm going to just do a little bit of recap in case there are people here who were not present on Sunday or who have not listened to the Sunday message. But an awakened world is really the world we all want. It's a world in which all the things that are hurt my heart, I'm sure they hurt yours too, all the things, whether it's hunger or war or hatred or jealousy or violence towards people or animals. An awakened world is a world that resides in love. You know, an awakened world is a world that begins to let the spirit use us in such a way that to harm ourselves or others is unthinkable. An awakened person, an awakened being doesn't murder people. So an awakened world will be intolerable. All of the things that we find intolerable will ultimately find their right and perfect path. But awakened individuals are the source of an awakened world. So we have to start with ourselves. You know, we're never going to find peace in the world if we don't find peace within ourselves. So that's why our inner work is so important. Is why Unity Naples and all New Thought churches everywhere are so important, because we need community. We need a spiritual community in order to grow spiritually. Very, very, very few people can really do it on their own. Not that it's not possible, but very few people get the wand. Boing, you're now awakened. Boing. Mostly we have to forgive our parents, we have to quit smoking, we have to love people, we're like the pearl, right? We're gonna need to get shaken around so we lose all of our rough edges and we can allow people into our personal space. I did something called the S training when I was 21, and there used to be this exercise where you got really clear about how afraid people were of you and how afraid you were of other people. Boo, right? That we're just also conditioned to not trust the other, not care for the other, not open ourselves up to be vulnerable. So that's our theme for the month, and we have guest speakers. So I'm doing this Sunday, and then we have two amazing guest speakers coming in, Reverend Clive Delaporte and Reverend Claudia, to do Awakened World messages on the 16th and 23rd, which I'm very excited about, and then we'll close out the month on the 30th. So the theme, the subject for this Sunday's talk was finding your higher why, like finding a reason to live beyond the next pair of cute shoes. Not that one should not have cute shoes or little pretty earrings, right? That doesn't mean, but it's, we talked this past Sunday about it's a little insufficient to not have something that really motivates you to live. And all of you know this, but I'm going to be 70 next year, and it has been my experience as I've gotten older. And by the way, life is better. I can say this with all honesty, that I'm happier, healthier, and it's better now than it was when I was 30, even though I wasn't too concerned about my purpose, right? I don't know that 30-year-olds walk around going, I need a higher why. Though they do, and many times I wish I had done my own spiritual work way before I did. I don't know what my 20s and 30s would have been like had I, but it doesn't really matter because you just start from right where you are. So your higher why doesn't have to be, I don't know who asked me this question, a Facebook user. Hello, Facebook user. What if he asks, what if you, or she asks, I don't know. What's your name, Facebook user? But the question is, what if you don't know what your purpose is? Well, you do know. I'm going to tell you what your purpose is. That's not really the question. The question is not what is your purpose, because your purpose is you are an instrument of the infinite. You are. It was Emerson who said, if you're here, God was in need of an organ here. So again, don't get too caught up on the word God, but life needed your voice, your gift, your talent, your, hi Nancy Lewis, your talent, your love. So your purpose is to be here as an emissary of love. So it doesn't really matter whether you're a janitor or a teacher or a minister. It doesn't really matter what you are. You could be a photographer. You could be a beach bum. But whatever it is that you are, your purpose is to be that in a loving way that raises and praises people, that adds something rather than takes something away. So then the other question might be, how is that to be expressed through you? And that is really the deeper question. It's like, are you in life doing what you love to do? Are you in life doing what you love to do? I want to share with you a quote that I just found by Robert Browning. And he said, to do good things in the world, first you must know who you are and what gives meaning to your life. So Nancy, that might be something that points in that direction. Like, what do you care about, right? What do you care about? And I think it's unique for every person. Some people care about children. Some people care about animals. Some people care about knitting. Some people care about beauty. Some people care about the ecology. So it is, and it's not that's necessarily easy to find that. I think we do have to do our inner work. We do have to get into community. We do have to begin to know ourselves. We do have to begin to know ourselves and to love ourselves, to respect ourselves, to honor ourselves. And I say that like it's easy, but it's so hard to do because most of us weren't taught how to do that by our parents or the world we grew up in. Most of us have the opposite of that. We have self-esteem issues, right? So it's really hard to imagine that you could be a great songwriter, or even if you love writing songs, you're too afraid to write them because you're afraid you'll be rejected or laughed at. I'm going to tell you, one of the things you have to get over really quick if you're going to live an authentically powerful life, you have to get over what other people think about you, because some people are going to like you and some people aren't going to like you. Some people are going to like your song and some people are not going to like your song. It's just how it is. But I'm pretty sure all of our avatars, I'm pretty sure Jesus and the Buddha, I'm sure none of them walked around going, do you like me? Do you like my message? Right? Do you agree with me? None of them. No great humanitarian, no lover of people ever do that. They just are impelled to do what it is that they do. But you have to figure out what that is, because most of us, myself included, for most of my years, just went wherever the wind blew me. And I'm not kidding. I think I married my first husband just because he asked me. I don't even know. I think back now 50 years. I don't even know that I really knew him, right? We were married for about 10 years, but I don't know that I was ever really present in my body, in the present moment, paying attention to this person and what we were doing. It was like, that's just what you did. You got married. Thank God I didn't have any babies, but I get the idea. So to go back to this one, what I want to say here is that for a beginner, meaning for a person's initial moments of awakening to their true self, their authentic self, to a more conscious way of living, the higher why could simply to be awake, or the higher why could simply to be to live without alcohol, or the higher why could simply be to lose your weight. Do you understand? It doesn't have to be this big lofty, I'm going to change the world. Because the principle is that if you change, the world will change, right? If you become more loving, your world will become more loving, I promise you, on every level. And the world will then become more loving, because it's all a majority game. You can't really see me, but if these are weights, they're like this. You can't really see me. So whichever one weighs the most, I'm simplifying this, wins. So if there's more love in the world than hate, love wins. If there's more hate in the world than love, hate wins. So every person who gives up hating, every person who forgives, every person who becomes more loving begins to put weight on that scale. So it's just a matter of time until we have exactly what it is we are wanting to have. So what else? So this higher why. Life is also challenging. I just did a memorial service this weekend, and I just lost both my kitties during COVID. I lost them both this past year. So life is hard. It's really easy to get down. It's really easy to get discouraged. It's really easy to have despair. There's this quote by Henry David Thoreau. He says, "The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation." And what he means here is he's just saying that the majority of people, I don't know why when these people lived there were no women on the planet. I don't know where we were. Because we all just got lumped together as men. The mass of men and women. So the mass of human beings, for the most part, just lead lives of quiet desperation with no vision, no sense that they matter in life. This may not be true for you. It's certainly not true for me. But if you look into your circle, your contacts, your sphere of influence, my guess is you will see people who it's just one hard day after another. It's just you live, you work, you strive, you struggle, and then you die. Or, I went into Trader Joe's yesterday, and these poor people, these poor guys that work at, these men and women who work at Trader Joe's, they're outside in the heat all day, really trying to keep people safe and saying hello and giving you a basket and sanitizing, and they require a mask, as most stores still do. So this woman walked in, and she was on the defensive, and she just ripped them, and she just ripped them up. Like, I'm not wearing a mask, I have health issues, and you can't make me, the governor says so, and we will sue you. And the poor guys, they're 22 years old. They're like, okay, lady, okay. So that's a life, right? That's a life where there's no sense of her own beauty, her own grace, her own gentleness, her own love. Like she doesn't, this woman did not know that her purpose on earth was to be loving. She did not know that. But so the end result, this is a lot of stuff, isn't it? The end result of living that way is physical illness, mental illness, emotional illness, violence. I have a guy living behind me who yells at his dog. His poor dog barks, and this guy, it's as if he were being killed by this dog, right? It's not anger. So I think the idea is to simply, if you're here, you're on a spiritual journey already. If you're here, you're already on a journey, right? You're already opening. And how most people come into New Thought teachings, by the way, is face down in the mud. Most people don't say, "Oh, I think I'll go wake up today. I think I'll transform myself today." Most people don't do it that way. Mostly, it's some kind of pain brings us. Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith said, "You're either pushed by pain or pulled by vision." But the spirit within you, you cannot fail. If you don't do it this time around in this particular body, in this vehicle you're driving right now, you'll do it in the next vehicle, because it's part of the divine plan, is that we awaken. But most of us, it's through a divorce or a death, or your house burns down, or you get a diagnosis. Something brings us to the question, is there more? Is there more? What am I going to do here? Right? I'm at my wit's end. There's something here that my ego, everything I know, nothing can help. And that's when you have to ask yourself the question. There's a question to ask yourself. I should type out this question because I didn't make a banner for it. I'm going to write it out here. The question is, what don't I know, the knowing of which would change everything? What don't I know? What don't I know, the knowing of which would change everything? It's a very humble question. It's a question that says, it's where we're down on our knees. Dear God, what do I need to do to get through this? What do I need to have any of you ever had situations like that where you have to get through it and you just don't know how, and you ask? For the first time ever, you ask. You say, I don't know how to do it. Does anyone know how to do it? Of course, I know some of you on here, I know that some of you have experienced this. So this is the awakening process. This is the higher why. This is what it is. It's all it is, really, is being open and receptive. Yes, Linda, I know your story. You did command it. And I commanded it. I remember I was 45. I was married to somebody I loved so much that it just wasn't going to work, because he had addiction issues that were devastating to me, and I couldn't live with them. And I just felt useless. And I just remember saying to God, and I didn't really have a connection with God, but I remember saying, give me something to do. Give me some reason to get up in the morning. Give me some reason to carry on, or just take me now. And it was really that clear. It's like, there's nothing else I want. I don't want any more sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I've had all of that I could possibly handle. And I just want to be used in a healthy, wonderful way in life. I want to have a reason for getting out of bed. That's your higher why. So if you don't know what that is, you just ask. You command, as Linda said, you command it, please. And then you stay open. Now on Sunday, this coming Sunday, I don't want to do a spoiler, but we're going to talk a little bit more about about transformation and the process of transformation, what it is, and what it feels like when you're going through it. And some of you already know, of course, what that felt like for you, because it's not always peaches and cream, right? It's just not always peaches and cream. In fact, it's very difficult usually, but it's worth it because you want to be on your deathbed. Here's my promise to you, and it's my promise to myself, that how I govern my life now is in the awareness that in not too many years, I'm going to be on my deathbed. And I don't want to look back and know that I spent my entire life trying to lose 5 pounds. Or I don't want to look back knowing that I didn't do what I wanted to do most, that I didn't do what I loved. So, good exercise for all of you until we meet again is to make a list of what you love. And not like what's possible. Not only what's possible, like you have the money to do it or the time to do it or the wherewithal to do it, but given all the time and money in the world, what do you love? Do you love animals? Do you love going to the zoo? Do you love travel? Do you love taking pictures? Do you love writing? You should know what you like and what you don't like. You should know this. And a lot of people don't because, when you were 2 years old, you tried dancing on the table and your parents yelled at you and told you that you couldn't dance, you were clumsy and to get off the table. And then we decide we're never going to dance again. That doesn't mean you don't love to dance, right? So we'll do one of these. There's a wonderful book called The Wisdom of the Ages by Wayne Dyer, and he's got it's a book full of essays, and he one of the essays is asking yourself the question, what do you really, 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 really want? And it's 4 reallys, because he says the first really will always be on this, mostly will be on the surface. What do you really want? Oh, I really want a new car. No. What do you really, really want? Well, you're right. I'd really love a new job more. No, but what do you get the idea. So the question is saying, what does your soul want? What does your soul, which has no first name, right? That Denise was a name given to my body, not to my soul. Oh, I like that, right? Your name was given to your body. But your soul or your spirit was there before the body was there. And a spiritual idea would be that if you're here, you had a reason to come here, that you just didn't choose to incarnate into this realm or this dimension for no reason. You have a reason. Another book you could explore, if you want to explore that, because your childhood gives you some clues, is a book by Patrick Harbula. Patrick Harbula, A-R-B-U-L. Whoops, oh, that's all right. It's called The Magic of the Soul. Magic of the Soul. And he talks about how your childhood gives you clues as to what your soul's up to. And sometimes it's what you actually didn't get. It's funny. So sometimes it's what you were missing as a child. So what your parents did not give you gives you a clue as to what you're actually wanting to accomplish here. But don't make this too complicated. It's not. When you shift your identity to identifying yourself with spirit rather than with the ego, when you really can observe your ego in action and really get that it's not who you are, really, then the rest just comes kind of naturally, really. So you're just in the right place. You're doing the studies. You're hopefully doing some kind of meditation practice, even if it's just walking meditation or hugging a tree. We've been doing meditation at church now. We started last Sunday, and we're going to continue before service. Right now, this coming Sunday, it'll be 9:15 to 9:35, but the following Sunday, we're actually going to move it we're going to move it again. We're going to make it in the sanctuary because it's way more sacred, from 9:30 to 9:50, way easier for people. So we're going to shift it so it's even better. But that's a time to sit down and meditate with people, which is always a very powerful experience. So what else? Any other questions? What's going on out there? I wish we had more a forum where we could do more kind of interaction, but this is what we have, so that's all right. There's a quote by while you're typing something in for me to see or talk about. There's a quote by Michael Bernard Beckwith, which is that he says, "We are not here to save the world, but to serve an emerging paradigm of love, connectedness, and generosity of heart." So the ego would have us think that those people who live in shanties in South Africa that we should feel sorry for them, or we should pity them, or we should do something. But let me just say that when you do that, you rob them of the truth of their being, which is that they are as much the divine as you, and they're as much they have as much power as you have to change and to awaken. So, but to offer love and connectedness and generosity and compassion and caring is an ennobling thing. It's an ennobling thing you give people when you do that. So, all right. So let's see. Can we not do Zoom? Yeah, we can do Zoom. We can. I considered doing Zoom. I did consider doing Zoom. This actually reaches more people, and Zoom doesn't really stay on. But you know, I don't know. I'll give it some thought. Let me give it some thought. Yeah. So Heather's asking, what do you do about all those other people who annoy you, who don't think like you do, who you think should think something different or be something different? How do you let people be themselves on their path, right? And it is hard. That is a hard thing to do. That's probably the hardest thing to do, right? Because, I mean, if you're a person who, I mean, it's a whole political controversy, right? It's the whole, it's the source of all violence is that I'm right and you're wrong. I know and you don't. Now, being spiritual does not mean you let bad things happen. Like if you're walking down the street and somebody was abusing a child, you wouldn't just say, oh, well, that child, I don't need to help because they have their own path. That would be ridiculous and stupid, right? Because the invitation then is for us to bring love into that situation. But just in terms of your being annoyed by people or somebody else's way of being or way of thinking or choices robs you of your peace, that's if who they are robs you of your peace, that's your problem, not their problem. So what you do is you bring forward self-reliance for yourself, number one, that you are free to have your own opinions and thoughts without trying to convince anyone else to think like you think, and that you're not right. I know it's hard, but we're not right. We are not right, because for every right you think you are, somebody else thinks they're right, which once again now we're right back at violence and war. So it takes a tolerance, so think about God. We were raised to believe that God judged us. Most of us, not all of us. We were raised to believe that God judged us and watched our behavior, and based on our behavior decided whether we were worthy of his love or if we were worthy of going to heaven or going to hell. So, and most of us grew up fearing that God and not, it's a very damaging psychological thing. But the truth is that the God that you and I know, the God that I know, loves you unconditionally. It doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. It doesn't matter whether you are a saint or a sinner. It doesn't matter whether you've done good things or bad things. That God loves you no matter what. And God will help you no matter what. That's how we're supposed to be. That's our purpose. So you get to love the person and not the thought, but you get to love the person no matter what. That's what you get to do. And when you get to do that, then you'll find yourself unbotherable. And if you're bothered, it's not their problem, it's your problem. Then it's just another level of another level of teaching for you. Because we're never done learning. It's not like you're going to transcend all of the nonsense of the ego, but when you become aware of it, then you are awake rather than asleep. Dr. Michael called it sleepwalking. That he said so Browning said the majority of people lead lives of quiet desperation. Michael would say most people are sleepwalking through life, that they are not awake, aware, paying attention, confident, powerful, authentic. That's what we're striving for here, because if you do that, the world will fall in place. It'll be a better place. So that's a lesson. That's our lesson for today. Our lesson for today is the higher why, and to practice observing, becoming more and more present every minute to who you are and to how you conduct yourselves in life. And if you have places that if you have crooked places that you need to make straight, make them straight, right? Bring more love, bring more patience, bring more tolerance, bring less judgment, bring less anger. That's what we're doing here. So, so a couple of things. Please feel free to also just keep saying anything you want to me. I'm switching over to banners because I have a couple of things I need to tell you about. One is we are accepting love offerings for doing this, obviously, because that's what we do. And I want to tell you that Amy and Jesse have agreed to join us starting next week. So we're going to be adding a musical component, which I am just beyond crazy about. But if you, let me put these up here for you. If you want to give a love offering, and I know that you do, because you surely understand that that we survive on love offerings, on your donations. So if you want to, you can go to our website and there's just a donate now button, and you can also text the word give to the number that's scrolling. And you will, if you've never done it before, you have to give a little bit of information, but then from then on, you just type in a dollar amount, like 25, and give, and it's automatic every week. So I just invite you to step into that kind of generosity with us. And I also want to let you know that I'm showing you, I have a class, my first class as the minister at Naples. I'm doing a half-day workshop called A Life of Spiritual Power, which primarily will be to go over to empower individuals to learn how to be creators of context, which means to create something out of nothing, to stop creating from the past and to begin to create from the powerful perspective of now. So it will be transformational, a deep and wonderful fun time. So I'm doing it in person. I'm doing it in person on the 22nd and on Zoom on the 29th. So absolutely everybody can do it. And you can register for it at this link. All right. It's pretty snazzy. Let me get this back. So just a couple opportunities. I love A Life of Spiritual Power is my work, my life's work. It is my higher why, besides just empowering people. So I would love to study with you and learn more about you. So feel free to jump in on that. Amy and Jesse will join us next week. and we will continue on with a kind of unpacking of the Sunday message on Wednesdays. My guess is I'm going to leave Wisdom Wednesdays alone on StreamYard because it's not too bad. I mean, if you guys talk to me, if you guys continue talking to me, then we can actually do. Oh, Jesse, that's Jesse, by the way. If you keep talking to me, then we can kind of get questions answered and do a little. There's no back and forth, but it's okay. And this gets recorded, so people who aren't able to be here with us live can actually watch it later, which is a really great thing. But perhaps we can do a Zoom thing. Maybe do the class. The class is $25. The workshop's $25. It's nothing, not much. And if $25 is an issue and that's stopping you, just email me. You are all welcome to email me. I'm going to give you my email right now. Rev Denise at unitynaples.org. And we'll talk about it, but in person or on Zoom. So if there are no more questions or comments, I'm going to pray us out tonight. It's been wonderful to be with you. So wonderful to see so many of you here. It's really nice. Yeah. So let me stop. I can stop this banner because I want you to pray. By the way, if you've never done Text to Give, it's incredibly fun and easy. I do it. I learned it at Naples, and it's just a good and easy way to do it. All right, so let's pray together. So when we pray, we are not begging a reluctant deity to do anything. We're not trying to make something happen. We are not. The truth is that you and I, every gift of God has been given to us, that there is no reason why we are not living happy, fulfilled, prosperous, healthy lives. That we don't have to pray to get that. Most of us, the reason we're not is because one, we don't know it's possible. Two, it's been beaten out of us or drummed into us, or I don't know. But part of the awakening process is to really get that you can be happy. You can do what makes you happy. You can have the amount of money that makes you happy. You can have the relationships that make you happy, that you deserve happiness. So we're going to pray to align ourselves with that truth and let the universe make all the crooked places straight for us. Yes? All right. So turn within, get comfortable. Prayer is important because it speaks to the subconscious and not just the conscious mind, the intellect. It gets into those secret, sacred places within you. So join me. We close the outer eyes in order to symbolically leave the conditions, situations, circumstances of our lives and the world out there. Now, all that is manifested in the physical universe is manifested through the act of consciousness, whether it's mine or ours, whether it's us or we. And so if we want to change the outer world, ours or globally, personally or globally, we have to start inside. We have to start with consciousness. And so we close the outer eyes, we open our inner eyes. And when we open our inner eyes, you're looking into that space and place and dimension within you that is holy, that is powerful, that is loving, that is aware of its own divinity and its connection to the source of all divinity. And so we in this moment are forming a consciously connected community. We in this moment are connected to each other. Everything in the world that we need to manifest what we want manifested, that we're now connecting with those people, those places, those situations, those resources on an unseen side. And so we activate this great law of manifestation through the word. And so in this moment, I'm speaking my word for and about each one of us here tonight, to simply know that wherever you are on your spiritual journey, whether you are on day one, face down in the mud, or you are heading towards being a monk or a guru or enlightenment, no matter where you are, that there's always more to know. There's more to feel, more to love, more to give, more to receive. And so I claim for each one of us here that we are awakening. We are transforming into our greatest yet to be. Mary Morrissey said, "Are you on the green growing edge of your own evolution?" And I say, yes, we are. And we willingly say yes. We open to divine wisdom and guidance. We open to inspiration. We ask and then we receive. And so I know that all is well. Any mountains in your life that there is a capacity to level them. Whatever valleys there are in the life, God has a capacity to raise them. And so that we walk in this life with elegance, with ease, with grace, with fearless, unbotherable, just grounded in our purpose, paying attention to what we care about, so that we slide into those, and we slide into that last moment saying, whew, that was awesome. That's what I'm knowing for each and every one of us. And so I just released my word. I'm releasing it into the law. I'm releasing it into a process, a spiritual process that manifests. And so we leave this time tonight accepting and expecting the manifestation of my word. Say yes to it yourself fully in this moment. I am willing to awaken. I'm willing to be willing to awaken. And so we let this be together. And we do this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So it is. Amen. Okay, namaste. It is Mother's Day on Sunday. If you're on campus with us, come bring your daughters, yourself. If you're a woman only, it's a wise woman's tea. We'll be meeting in the fellowship hall with chocolate and wisdom. And if not, I will see you next Wednesday. Peace and blessings to you. Go forth, be happy, be safe. Bye.